And with that, we are now on turn 6. So, new lead investigator. To recap, Silas Marsh sealed the gate last turn. Bravo. Trish learned some heard some monstrous English in the Great Hall of Celano and lost some sanity but gained a clue. Patrice kind of just hung out in the Dreamlands. Nothing really happened. She thought she saw someone she knew, but she didn't encounter that person. And Norman Weathers went to the Abyss, where some wind hurt him, some bruising wind, not brushing wind, like I said. Bruising wind. So he lost some stamina. So this turn, it's still raining cats and dogs, so movement is lower, and the Great Ritual, with help of this priest, will probably be completed this turn. That priest joins the fray. And he's blocking, what's his name, in the witch house. So, let's go to upkeep phase, shall we? Starting with Trish. So, she is currently going to be exiting the Great Hall, finally. So, I'm going to put her lore. These all move back. I'm going to raise her lore to 5, since it's higher than her fight. So that's 1, 2, 3, and she has one more movement. It doesn't really matter, so, because they'll all reset next turn. Next up is Patrice, who will also be leaving the Dreamlands. I will be increasing her lore by 2 to 5. And that concludes her upkeep. And this refreshes. I used it last turn. I had to use it. And if everything goes right, he will also be leaving the other world via his Fine Gate spell. So I will increase his lore to maximum. And hopefully, if everything goes right, 3 gates will simultaneously be closed. Probably not all sealed, because I made a bad call last turn. I should have used Silas Marsh's clues and just regain them. They're easier to regain in Arkham than closing gates is priority. So, and she doesn't have enough clues to seal all 3 gates. But we'll see how it goes. So, with that, we go to movement. Starting with Trish. She will simply return to Arkham here at the Great Hall, at the Black Cave. Next up she gets a Explorer. Next up is Patrice, who will also be returning from the Dreamlands back to the woods, and she gets an Explorer. Now, for the critical piece of this puzzle is Norman Weathers, the astronomer's Fine Gate spell, which he's going to cast. Casting modifier -1, sanity cost 1. So he spends 1 sanity, which I think I can use on the Golden Trumpet, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't do it last time, but he's spending sanity, not losing sanity, so I'm not sure. The wordage is whenever they lose to avoid losing sanity. I'm gonna say he can use it because this game's hard enough. But no, it's Arkham. He loses. He spent it. He didn't lose it. Whatever's harder, right? Um. So he has a lore of 5 -1. He rolls 4 dice. He's got to get this to get out of the abyss. And a roll. And he rolled a 6. And that's a success. So he returns the Arkham from the abyss back to the Devil's Reef, which gives him also an Explore token. All 3 Explore tokens are being used. Also be aware that they must end their turn here and fly. They're susceptible to flying monsters. So it's not the safest place to be. This brings us to the... Oh yeah, Silas Marsh. Forgot about him. You know what? I did not do his upkeep. I skipped him. Oops. I think I will lower his will. And then for his movement, he's going to have to fight the priest. I want to kill this guy, but if the Great Ritual... He isn't a high priest, but he is a priest. So... Yeesh. -2? That's not good. It's going to be dangerous. Very dangerous, but I have to do it. We're fighting this guy. So, the most dangerous part is the will check, which I'm rolling 1 dice. 1 measly dice. And if he fails, he goes insane, so I can't fail. He fails, I will use a clue token to reroll. He fails again, I will use another clue token. That's two clue tokens. Come on, 2 more rolls left. That's a fail. Last clue token. This is really bad. And he is insane. Actually, he could use Patrice's clue tokens, but I will need at least 1. Let me think about this. No, I need all of those. Let's say Silas Marsh goes insane fighting that guy. He just lost 3 clue tokens to bad rolls, and he is going insane. So he ends up at the asylum. He gets his sanity back, and he draws an insanity card. Claustrophobia. Lose 1 sanity if you are in a location not including Arkham Asylum or Otherworld. Wow. Very bad card. Yep, that's painful. Next up is 4 encounters. That was all movement. This is encounters. Trish will she will close her gate, which is -2, so she rolls 3 dice. That's a failure. I'm gonna just wait. There's no rush to close that gate, hopefully. I mean, that's a bummer, but she wouldn't be able to seal it anyway. It would just be a closed gate. So, I'm gonna have her hang tight. Next up is Patrice to close her gate. It costs 5. Or she has 5, and it's plus 1 Dreamlands. So she gets 6 dice. But I forgot, she has library use, so when I make a lore check, add plus 1 to each die for the purpose of checking for success. So I succeed on a roll or more, or 4 or more. And that's a super success. So she closes her gate. Dreamlands, which doesn't match any symbol to any monster on the board, unfortunately. But it's a gate closer, and that's going to be a seal. I'm going to pay 5 clues. 5 clues to get an elder sign on the woods, which is a high frequency gate location. Next up is Norman Weathers. He wants to close his gate too. So he's rolling 5 minus 2 because it's the abyss. So he's rolling 3 dice. And I only have 1 shot at this. And he does it. He rolled a 6. Now here's the tricky part. Which symbol do I choose? Do I just let the... If I let that symbol fire, it gets rid of the Dark Young that's right on top of him. Or I can choose Circle, and that will get rid of 2 of these monsters over here. Or I can choose Plus, and that will get rid of the Deep One Hybrid and the Deep One in the outskirts. But one thing I forgot to do is before we do that, someone went insane, so we got to add a monster to the outskirts. That might change my decision, but we'll see. And the monster is Formless Spawn. So that's another one we can get rid of by having just the gate closed with the symbol that's printed on it. That goes to the outskirts. Yeah, I think I'm going to just do... Because that Dark Young is nasty. I won't be able to do much about that guy, I don't think, with Norman Weathers. He could try to kill it, but it's very formidable opponent indeed. So, bye. And it gets rid of the Formless Spawn that just got added to the outskirts. So not the best. We closed 2, and of course sealing that gate with his 2, and then 3 of Patrice's for 5. She has no more clues left. All her clues are gone. And we get an Elder Sign. Halfway there, 3 gates sealed. And he gets another gate trophy. Now, the problem here now lies with the Deep One Rising track, because with more sealed gates, that becomes a liability. Now we're on to the Mythos phase. And it is the woods, which is sealed, which means a Deep One Rising track. So, the penultimate, one more, and Cthulhu Awakes. Monster movement. So, we have some movement. Or do we? No oh wait, yes. Well, Sean will move, but there's already an investigator in his space. I don't believe he would move. So I think he just stays put. But that's the only monster that would move. Strange light on campus. The library administrative building. Oh yeah, a clue shows up at the historical society. There's 3 clues there. 3 juicy clues. The library, administration building, and science building are all closed until the end of the next turn. Leave this card in play and to indicate this. So we're just going to put that here. It's closed. And unfortunately, the Great Ritual is a resounding success. All 5. Booyah. So this happens. It gets returned to the box. From now on, draw 2 Mythos cards. Each Mythos card, ignore everything on it except for the gate opening. Okay. So, we're going to add that to Cthulhu's repertoire. This nasty. They have the Great Ritual on their side. And that concludes turn 6 of this horrible game, which is about to probably end next turn, either via the Deep One Rising. For the most part, unless I can do something about it, it takes way too long to clear it. I would need... And none of my investigators have clue tokens, since they use them. I have 1 clue token to my name. So, the game's about to be over, so until then...